So it was a stirring experience. Certainly a good noise for the Polish anthem. The bulk of their supporters are actually down on the lower tier of the side of the ground that we're on, so that is where the vast majority of them, there must be at least a couple of thousand in that section, but they, the Polish fans in white and red, are dotted all around the ground. Really, there's not much segregation. But as I say, Mexican supporters all around the place, and that rendition of the Mexican anthem was quite something, Matthew Upson.
It's almost like a kind of rendition that you'd expect at a home venue, isn't it? You know, that's the kind of noise and how the Mexican fans got behind that anthem. And like I said earlier, they can definitely play a part in this game.
Well, the next World Cup will be partly in Mexico. Mexico, USA and Canada jointly hosting in 2026. So that's one for your diary, to watch World Cup games in Mexico again, as has been the case in the past, of course. But we're just about ready for the off now. That big World Cup, the model of the World Cup is being carried away, it's being wheeled away, and now the carpet is being rolled up in the centre circle as well. And the two captains are shaking hands, Guillermo Ochoa and Robert Lewandowski, the team captain, if you like. Andres Guardado, Mexico's most capped player, he's on the bench tonight. So is Raul Jimenez of Wolverhampton Wanderers, the centre forward, who's not fit enough. He's had a groin injury, and they hoped he was going to be able to play in this match. We might see him at some stage. He did come off the bench last week in the warm-up match that Mexico played against Sweden. But the team tonight, the Mexican team, Ochoa in goal, back four of Sanchez, Montes, Moreno and Gallardo. Then in midfield, Herrera with Alvarez and Chavez either side. And then Irving Lozano on the right-hand side, Chucky Lozano, as we heard our Mexican friend describe him just before kick-off. Alexis Vega on the left. And then Henry Martin is the centre forward, the number 20. And the Polish side tonight, Wojciech Szczesny in goal, familiar figure, the Juventus goalkeeper, the former Arsenal man. Then three central defenders, Berezinski, Glick, who's winning his 100th cap tonight, and Kivior. Then Matty Cash on the right-hand side, the right wing-back, we think, tonight, the Aston Villa man, making his World Cup debut. Zalewski of Roma on the left-hand side. Krychowiak in the middle with Kamiński and Szymanski either side of him. And then the Napoli man, Zielinski, supporting Lewandowski up front. So, Mexico against Poland. It's not absolutely full, but not too far short of that. This stadium holding 40,000 people. The referee is from Australia, Chris Beath, and he blows his whistle, and the match begins. This second match in Group C after the seismic events of earlier in the day when Saudi Arabia caused the shock of the World Cup so far. And Mexico win a free kick down in a left-back position after Hector Moreno is shoved over by Kamiński, and it's a free kick to Mexico. Mexico ranked number 13 in the world against Poland, who are ranked 26th. And Ochoa is going to come across to take this free kick. So a big night. Every World Cup finals match is a big night. But I think Robert Lewandowski, who is just there on the balls of his feet, just trotting away from the edge of the penalty area. Mexico thought about taking this short, but instead Ochoa hits it long. I don't know whether there's a little bit of nerves in that. He actually just feels his left shoulder, the goalkeeper, Ochoa, as if to say, there's a bit of stiffness in that. It's an early one. Yeah, well, we've shaken that out of our system now, and it's a throw in at the halfway line.
Just quickly, John, I mean, Kelly asked earlier, do you feel safe in a stadium made of shipping containers? Well, can you just feel this stadium vibrate with the amount of Mexicans jumping up and down at the moment? It's a little bit wobbly.
Well, our Mexican friend was talking, wasn't he, about how what some of the cheers in Mexico City when they've scored at previous World Cups have registered on the Richter scale in Mexico City. It's a free kick on the halfway line for a foul by Zielinski. So Mexico go back into their own half to Hector Moreno. Now out to the left-hand side to Gallardo. And he just looks infield to Hector Herrera, but it comes back to him on that far side, and then it's back into central defence. So Poland We did wonder, but it does look, doesn't it, as though it is the back five as the ball is fired forward out to the left-hand side for Mexico. Poland on the back foot now as it's brought infield from the left-hand side. The ball played to Hector Herrera in the middle of the midfield. To his right, Jorge Sanchez, and then Hector Herrera picks it up again, winning his 103rd cap tonight. There are some very, very experienced international footballers out there. Long ball out towards the right-hand side. A header away for Poland by Berezinski, and then it is just ushered out of play for a throw into Mexico on the halfway line.
I mean, I think you can really expect the pattern in which this game started to carry on. I think Poland are going to sit in their shape, be very comfortable for Mexico to have the ball in and around the halfway line, spray it around a little bit, and then when the time's right, strike and put a bit of pressure and try and turn that ball over, create some space, and then get it into Lewandowski as quick as they can.
You know what, we thought it might be a three central defenders as Berezinski rather awkwardly clears the ball away on the edge of the Polish penalty area, and then that's a foul by Irving Lozano, and it's a free kick after his challenge on Zalewski. And he is holding the side of his head there, the left of his head, the Roma youngster. Just an aerial challenge, just caught by the forearm really. I don't think there's anything too serious in that. I think he'll be okay. And it's a free kick to Poland. But Wojciech Szczesny will take, 32 years old now. As I say, the Juventus goalkeeper, his sixth season at Juventus, having been on loan at Roma before that and at Arsenal before that. And all in yellow. Szczesny's ball downfield is headed on and then juggled and volleyed. The whistles are from the Mexican fans because it is Robert Lewandowski in possession, and he's challenged and the ball is out of play for throw.
I mean, it does look like a back four for Poland, doesn't it? With Berezinski, as we thought beforehand, playing in the left back position, and Matty Cash on the right back position. So, yeah, it's very much a Poland back four.
Yeah, the initial suggestion was it would be a back four, and then we were encouraged to think again, weren't we?
We were,
but
should have stuck with our initial instinct.
Yes, here's Matty Cash on the right-hand side. What a great moment for him, having made that decision. But Kivior is caught in possession, and now Lozano is away down the right, and Lozano crosses to the back post, and it's missed. The Mexican player coming in from the left-hand side, I think it was Alexis Vega arriving. I mean, it was whipped across from the right by Lozano, and it was at an awkward height, but that was a chance for Alexis Vega, and he rather fluffed his lines.
Yeah, it was a chance, but it was a tough one. In fairness, the ball got whipped across with real pace from Lozano. Brilliant piece of pressing. Just saw the opportunity to go right in, stole the ball, knocked it out of his feet, right foot, whipped cross, really pacey. And Vega arriving, and it was quite an angle. It was coming at a difficult height as well, so I think if he'd got it on target, it would have been a really good effort.
But a poor mistake in the first place, actually, by the central defender, Kivior.
Too slow with the ball, wasn't he? Didn't realise how quickly Lozano was getting out to him.
So that is Matt Upson, who's sitting alongside us high in the stadium here. Played for England at the World Cup. And now here we are watching Mexico and Poland on the third day of Qatar 2022. And the Mexicans bringing the ball forward from the back. And Herrera on the right-hand side goes through the challenge, but he is then dispossessed effectively by Szymanski. And the ball is played forward now, and Poland on the break into the penalty area on the right-hand side, and the covering challenge is there. Gallardo comes across and he's able just to get a toe to it first to prod it behind for a corner, the first of the match, and it is Poland's.
That was cracking pace from Gallardo. I mean, he was nowhere near favourite here. The touch got played inside, really good pace to get back, and he didn't dive in, just held his ground and waited for the touch to happen, then stepped in and blocked it. Really good controlled defending.
Well, Poland have got this set piece. Their last 5 World Cup goals have been scored from set pieces. Cash with the corner from the right, but the referee, Chris Beath, has just walked into the 6-yard box, and he's talking, I think, yes he is, with Kamil Glik, And it's hardly surprising. I've seen him cause mayhem in opposition penalty areas from set pieces. Cash then with the corner, and Lewandowski heads it down, but it's deflected wide and behind of the left post as he was looking at it. So it is a corner from the other side.
Oh, it's definitely a situation where Poland really fancy themselves in this game. I mean, it must be part of their game plan, John, to win wide free kicks, corners. They've got real aerial threat, and they've got good, aggressive headers of the ball. And Mexico have got to do their job here.
Yeah, and it's the corner from the left-hand side, this one, which is swung in, right-footed from the left-hand side by Zielinski, and it's blocked at the near post. So second consecutive corner for Poland. They don't like this. All of those men and women and boys and girls sitting there under their sombreros. In it comes from Zielinski to the near post, and it's headed away on the edge of the 6-yard area. That was an excellent delivery, and Mexico defended it well. And actually, there's been a clash of heads on the edge of the 6-yard area. The Mexican player who's down, I can see him, Cesar Montes, the right-sided central defender, and the Polish player, it is Kamil Glik.
Yeah, I mean, probably the biggest, tallest player on the pitch for Mexico in Montes. Really good header, actually. The ball was delivered right into that near post area on the 6-yard box line. So perfect delivery, great height. Both players going to attack the ball. There's no serious injury from first look, but a bit of a clash of heads, wasn't there?
It's another clash of heads. So yet again, I mean, it seems like every match at this World Cup we have had this sort of incident. Clash of heads. Is it concussion? Are the players okay to continue?
I mean, is it something that you see most World Cups? A lot of really kind of committed challenges. I think, players are so hyped in that first game that, the fear goes out the window and you just focused on the ball. And a lot of players, goalkeepers especially as well, a lot of these incidents have been, goalkeeper related, haven't they? Coming out and punching balls or going for balls and clattering into players.
Juliette Farrington is here with us inside the stadium tonight in a roving role, and she's just pointed to the big screen, which suggested that, when Gallardo put in that challenge, made that sprint to get to the ball and put it behind, it suggested that he was running at 35 kilometres an hour.
Wow. That's pretty pacey. How can they put that on the screen so quickly?
How do we put it on the screen? Well, how do they judge that?
I mean, do they use the technology with the new VAR for the offside? Do they use that because that sends signals constantly, doesn't it? And they're tracking players all the time for distance. So I suppose it can be.
Do we trust it?
Immediate.
Do we just trust it because somebody's put it up in letters on the screen?
Yeah.
Well, is it gospel?
I don't know if I trusted it said John Murray running at that.
No, well, I wouldn't either. Here's Gallardo on the left-hand side, not running quite so quickly here. What was that, maybe 22 kilometres an hour? Anyway, he put the cross in and it was caught by Szczesny at the near post, and he's got that quite safely in his gloves again. He's had some mixed experiences in his first matches at tournaments. I remember him being sent off in the first match at Euro 2012. He was put out of the tournament with an injury in his first match at Euro 2016, and now he clears it downfield, and Mexico should put it out of play safely, which they do. Cesar Montes, they're okay. Both Cesar Montes and Glik are back up on their feet, and they have been ruled to be okay to continue in the match. And the other thing, at the World Cup 4 years ago, Szczesny was left out of the team after the first two matches, and Poland, as has been much talked about in advance of this match, as they attack down the right-hand side, and it was just seen behind from Mexican goal kick. The record for Poland at recent World Cups has been consistent. You can say that for them, because at their last 3 World Cups, they've lost their first 2 group matches, and effectively been down and out, and then won the third match in the group.
A lot of the chat around Lewandowski and what this World Cup means for him, but what you've just said there, how big is it for Szczesny? I mean, to make amends and to actually come to a major tournament like a World Cup and give the account of himself that we know he can, and I think that's hugely important for him individually.
That's Matt Upson. This is BBC Radio 5 Live here at the World Cup in Qatar, on what is a very pleasant evening temperature-wise inside the stadium. Mexico coming forward down the left-hand side, and it is Luis Chavez, the left-sided midfielder, with a strong run into the right-back area, and he's won a corner off Kaminsky, a corner to Mexico. This is their first.
Well, they've got real energy on that left-hand side, Mexico. Chavez and Vega. You've got to keep a little eye on Vega. He's a bit of a hothead, doesn't mind a red card, really feisty player, but got a lot of talent.
Alexis Vega, that little figure, over on the far side, takes the corner, they take it short. Vega makes himself available on the left, but the cross comes in deep into the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's a stretch, and it's a header up and over the top from central defender Hector Moreno, who is first to it. And I think the offside flag might have been up as well.
He's always struggling to get over the ball at full stretch. Left-footed cross, really whips it round. I think it's Matty Cash who's out there trying to close it down. Ball kind of takes a little deflection, and Moreno is never going to get over the top of it. He wins the ball, but goes harmlessly up in the air.
Just having another look, Matt, and it is a back four. I wondered whether he might have, you know how sometimes the coaches do change it early on in the match.
But as soon as you see Berienski on the left-hand side, you know he's playing left back, otherwise he'd be playing the right side of a back three.
Yeah, that's right. So it is Mexico 0, Poland 0. And you can listen to every match with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds at the World Cup. We've got coverage of every match, all 64 matches, and every one of those commentaries will be on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And I'm aware of the fact that, it's evening time here in Qatar, but I know it's drive time at home, so we will, of course, have a full roundup of the news at half-time for you if you are on your way home. But Mexico 0, Poland 0. And I touched on the temperature there, Matt. It does feel as though it's not so hot in Doha today, and the conditions just here, and I know the air conditioning will be on inside the stadium, but it's pretty good for football.
Really good. I think the temperature is absolutely bang on, if I'm honest, John. It's probably a little bit cooler on the pitch than up here. I was pitch side yesterday for England's game, and it was like a fridge freezer, if I'm honest. Had the jumper on at a kickoff.
Yes, it's... You were doubtful for today's game because of that yesterday.
Yeah.
You got the chills.
A little bit.
They're multiplying. Here's Mexico to the edge of the penalty area. It's cleared away.
Terrible.
Well, and now up towards Henry Martin in the centre circle, and then the challenge comes in, and it's whacked away out of play over on the far side for a throw-in to Mexico. This is their 17th World Cup. So there's been only 5 World Cups Mexico have not been to. Quarter-finalists as hosts in 1970 and 1986. Famous World Cup finals. Well, they're all famous, but I'm sure there'll be people listening for whom 1970 and 1986 finals hold a very special place. Mexico now moving the ball towards the right-hand side. Here's Irving Lozano. He scored the winner in their first match 4 years ago at the World Cup in Russia when they beat Germany, if you remember, in the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. And in the end, Mexico reached the last 16 at the World Cup, because they almost always do. Reached the last 16 at each of the last 7 World Cups. So their supporters talk about how they can't reach the 5th match. So that's what they want to do at every World Cup they come to.
I can't remember if they played a different team in their last group game in Russia, because they went out to Brazil, I think, in the last 16, which is no great surprise, but did they finish top of that group, or because they lost that game? I can't remember whether or not, it can become very strategic in that. If you win your first 2, you start thinking about resting players, you might affect the draw and what team you play.
Well, that's what we're already talking about, isn't it, with Argentina.
Absolutely.
And their potential opponents in the next round. Were they able to recover from today's defeat? But it is Poland in possession. The white shirts and the red shorts matching the national flag. Likewise Mexico, green shirts, white shorts, red socks. And here is Henry Martin playing the ball back into his own half, and Mexico now down the right hand side. Jorge Sanchez has knocked the ball on down into the full-back position, but too much on that. He was trying to catch it. It was an all-out race actually down there, and in the end the ball hit the corner flag and bounced out of play for a Polish throw.
Well, I think we'd have had to been looking at 50 kilometres an hour on that screen if he was going to get that touch, John. It was a massive touch out of his feet. He just saw the space in behind in the right channel and just literally kicked it at the corner flag thinking he was going to get there. It was a really heavy touch from Sanchez.
Mexico 0, Poland 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, and Hector Herrera now surrounded by white Polish shirts. He's able to get it back to Hector Moreno on the halfway line, and then Hector Moreno gets it back onto his left foot. It's one of those passes out to the right hand side that is effectively chested down. Jorge Sanchez receives it. Oh, he's dispossessed, and now Mexico have been caught downfield, and this is a Polish breakaway, and the ball is played at knee height to Lewandowski. That pass from the left gave him little chance there. Zalewski, I think he rather had a rush of blood to the head there. It was hit at pace at knee height, and even Lewandowski couldn't do anything with that.
Yeah, I think he was expecting a lot for him to get hold of that ball. Zelensky, it was a really good challenge to win it initially, and he was running along with his left foot, just whipped it. I mean, it was kind of between that really awkward height between his knee and his hip, and Lewandowski had absolutely no chance of getting it under control.
So the first match in this unique stadium, with all of the various shipping containers. As Mexico come forward now, the ball on the right hand side, Jorge Sanchez with the low ball into the penalty area, but then the offside flag does come. It was delayed. I had a feeling it was coming, and it did, and it's a free kick to Poland.
You just saw a little glimmer there of what Martin gives to Mexico. Their centre forward is very much a hold-up man, a little bit like an Olivier Giroud kind of style. He's quite short but stocky in stature, very strong. He loves coming towards the ball, and he's like a bit of a bounce board for the players that like to run off him, and clever players wide and in midfield. Comes towards the ball and looks to just lay the ball off, play little triangles. He'll be doing that a lot in this game.
Yeah, he plays for the America club in Mexico. In form, 13 goals in 21 appearances this season. He was in the Tokyo Olympic squad last year as well. They got the bronze medal at that, Mexico. And 6 goals in what is now 28 international appearances at full senior level. Here is Hector Herrera inside his own half, just wins the ball back. An important player, the number 16, 32-year-old, who, if you remember, was at Atletico Madrid, but has gone off to play at Houston Dynamo in America. And I think there is a feeling among Mexican supporters that he's made that decision to go to America rather early. However, that's where he is, but he's already had a strong start in this game in an influential position.
Very influential. He's only, 32? Herrera, so you look at it and think, well, yeah, I mean, players vary on how physically they hold up when they start to dip. Obviously just wanted a change and has gone out to the MLS, but still a very capable player and a really important one for Mexico.
There's Edson Alvarez now to the right hand side. Lozano is there. He's gone for the early ball into the edge of the penalty area. Glick rather awkwardly swung a leg at it. The ball went straight up in the air, but Chesney was able to come and make the catch, and it remains Mexico 0, Poland 0. And if you are on your way home, incidentally, this is one of those games, because this match is on BBC TV tonight. It's on BBC One. It's a live match, and every time there is a live match at this World Cup, you can actually listen to the 5 Live radio commentary alongside the television pictures. You just have to go onto the iPlayer, the BBC iPlayer, and look for World Cup Extra, and there are various attractive extras on there as well around the coverage. Here is Poland with the ball on the left-hand side. Up it goes to Zalewski. And now Poland go back into their own half to Kiwior, the left-sided central defender. And then to Glick. Great day for him to win his 100th cap in the first match at the World Cup. That is a memory that he'll never forget.
That's some occasion,
isn't it just? And here now on the left-hand side, he's quite long in the tooth now, Kamil Glick, at 34 years old, rugged individual. I mean, you just have to look at him. He's sort of out of the Matt Elliott mould, isn't he, for those who remember Matt? No offence, Matt, if you're listening. As Kiwior has the ball now, but facing his own penalty area, plays it back to Chesney. But he's a good story, Kamil Glick. Had a really tough upbringing in a coal mining part of Poland. And actually, as a little boy, as a toddler, almost died of blood poisoning. And here he is now, 34 years old. It was such an important part. He's had a brilliant career as a professional footballer, and winning his 100th cap for Poland at the World Cup.
Being called rugged as a centre-back's a compliment.
Well, it is. That's a very good point.
You're being really polite.
Not like those elegant central defenders that some people talk about. As Cash now, Matty Cash of Aston Villa, bringing the ball forward for Poland, but he is forced to check back and give it back behind him, and Poland now moving the ball from right to left, and then Henry Martin gets involved and wins it back, but then it's given away rather carelessly by Edson Alvarez up to Lewandowski on the edge of the penalty area, but he was challenged as Cesar Montes was right next to him, and the ball went between them and through to the goalkeeper.
Let me tell you, Montes was stuck to Lewandowski like glue then when that ball turned over. He was in a great position. I don't know if it was by chance, to be honest, but the moment that ball turned over, it turned over twice, didn't it? Mexico gave it away, then Poland stepped in, and all of a sudden the ball went forward. He was so tight to Lewandowski. They just a bit of a coming together. Don't think it was a foul, but really good defending from Montes.
Mexico 0, Poland 0. This is the World Cup on BBC Radio 5 Live, and here is Edson Alvarez, square from him to Jorge Sanchez, and now to the right-hand side again. And here is Irving Lozano, who takes on Berezhinski, and Berezhinski was able to get a foot in and block it, bounces back into the penalty area. Martin goes for it, but with a high foot, Martin on the Polish defender, and it is a free kick given against the Mexican centre forward.
Kirikoviak, wasn't it? The defensive midfield player just stooped low to head the ball clear, and Martin, it wasn't particularly dangerous in the sense that he swung a boot at it. He just tried to flick it up high. It didn't really make too much contact, but it certainly was a high boot.
Kirikoviak in the midfield with the hair, the long hair tied behind his head. He's another one of the players of great experience. This is his 95th cap tonight. So 95th cap for him. Glick his 100th to the back. Lewandowski 135 up front. And on the Mexican side, Hector Moreno, this is his 129th. Goalkeeper Ochoa, his 132nd. And so the number of caps out there and the number of wily international experience that there is on this field, I think generally when it comes to the World Cup, you need a dose of that. Mexico 0, Poland 0. Ball into the penalty area, and it's Hector Herrera who's made the run but couldn't get there, and it bounced through. But that, real burst from midfield from Herrera, but he couldn't get there, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned those players, and Gerardo Martino, the Mexico manager, I think he came quite under fire, didn't he, in the build-up to this with some of his team selection favouritism, leaving out a couple of attacking players. Jimenez obviously not in form, but I think they asked, who did they ask to come back in? It was Carlos Vela, wasn't it? I think they got to have an official meeting, tried to bring him back into the fold. He's really gone with a lot of experience, hasn't he? I think that's the one thing that some of the Mexicans might look at and think, well, we need to be developing this team as well, looking forward to especially the next World Cup.
Yes, the tide rather turned against him because they lost 3 big matches against the United States in the space of a year, and therefore he's under pressure.
He left out Javier Hernandez as well, didn't he? I think that a lot of the supporters has been scoring a lot of goals. Another player that is left out, and they're a little bit light of centre forwards or real goal threat that are in good form.
And the other thing as well that needs to be mentioned about him is he is from Argentina. He's Argentine. He's in charge of Mexico, and their next match is against the now under pressure Argentina. And Martinez, Tata Martinez as they call him, if you remember, when he was brought in to coach Barcelona, it was because he had such a good relationship with Lionel Messi. Poland coming forward, ball played towards the edge of the area. Lewandowski chasing this, but Mexico deal with it soundly again at the back, and it remains Mexico 0, Poland 0. Ball still in play actually, and then Irving Lozano was bundled over there by Berezhinski. Just a few yards into the Mexican half, free kick's given and they take it quickly. Hector Herrera out to the left-hand side. Gallardo is there, and he uses Alexis Vega, and then back to Gallardo again on the halfway line. Great noise inside the ground, and it is genuine. This is a super atmosphere inside this stadium here tonight. Lozano passes it forward to Hector Herrera inside the box, does it turn, gets the cross in, comes back to him, ball to the back post, headed across goal by Alexis Vega, but it dropped wide of the far post as he looked at it. Szczesny was scrambling a little to his left there, but it was wide.
Another run from Hector Herrera, deep from midfield, really stretches the Poland back four, and Vega again on that back post gets, I mean, that is a fraction wide of that far post. Whether or not Szczesny would have got a small touch on the ball had it been on target, I'm not too sure, but not a lot of power on the header, but just literally an inch past the far post. He really is arriving from that left-hand side into the back post every time.
Mexico 0, Poland 0 in the second match in Group C after the shock defeat for Argentina earlier, and some news just coming in is that Saudi Arabia have announced a national holiday tomorrow to mark the great victory against Argentina earlier today. So it's a national holiday in Saudi Arabia tomorrow. So if you're listening to us on BBC Sounds in Saudi Arabia, then you can begin to make your plans tomorrow. And you might be able to. I was listening to Ian Dennis on BBC Sounds last night as I was sitting in my room here in Doha. So it would appear that wherever you are in the world, you can listen to this World Cup with us on BBC Sounds. As Alvarez plays the ball to his left, and the ball's chipped over the top. Vega on the run. Szczesny comes out, didn't get there, and it is forced via a deflection wide and behind. And actually, the final touch was off the Mexican. It was Gallardo, actually. Gallardo, who was in there, who made the run.
What a ball. What a brilliant pass. I think it was Chavez with the pass from midfield. Beautiful right-footed weighted pass. Clipped it over the right-hand side of the defence of Poland to the run from Vega. Timed it so well. Came from out to in. Got hold of the ball, and Poland really scrambled back. Made a tackle. I think it did just ricochet back off the Mexican player.
It did.
A brilliant pass from Chavez.
Yeah, Gallardo, it was the player who burst through again using that pace that we've seen in this match. And actually, I think Szczesny got a hand to that quite importantly as he came out.
I mean, it has been a big part of Mexico. The fullback Sanchez as well, really getting forward. But for Gallardo to get on the end of that pass from Chavez just shows you how advanced he is.
Szymanski has been pulled back in centre field, halfway inside the Mexican half. It was Luis Chavez, and a yellow card is being shown to Jorge Sanchez. And the Mexican players now are coming to the referee, and there's a couple of them disputing that, but it is Jorge Sanchez who has been yellow carded.
It's very soft, very, very soft. He puts his arm around his waist as he runs past, but he doesn't make hardly any contact. I mean, I suppose the only mistake he's made is actually putting his arm around him, but the contact is nowhere near enough to make the player go over, and it's a really soft yellow card, one that he won't want because he's in that kind of position on this right back side that early on in the game, as a right back, you don't need that yellow card, and he's going to face a few 1v1 situations to come in the game.
So Jorge Sanchez is the first player to be booked in this match as it's announced over the extremely loud speakers. Sanchez, the Ajax man, playing in the Champions League this season in the same group as Liverpool and Rangers. So he is booked, and it's a free kick to Poland then, probably 15 yards or more inside the Mexican half. So free kick out towards the left-hand side. And this is going to be whipped in centrally, but safely and securely headed away. I think it was Hector Moreno who got there in amongst all of the bodies to head it out towards the far side where it's out for a Polish throw.
I think Poland have slowly started to get a little bit more confident. They started the game a little bit on the back foot. They've just started to get out and apply a little bit more pressure to Mexico, get after the ball a bit, not just sit in their shape and wait for the possession to turn over or to force a mistake. They're actually getting out there and putting a little bit more pressure on Mexico.
5 Live on a Tuesday afternoon, evening. Mexico 0, Poland 0. And the ball played back centrally to Glick after the throw-in was taken, then left-footed into the penalty area, but too much on that from Kivior. And it is in the gloves of Guillermo Ochoa, all in sort of Portsmouth blue, isn't it, that he's wearing? Long curly hair.
Portsmouth blue?
Portsmouth?
Yeah, okay.
Ipswich?
No, I'd say more Portsmouth.
Good, yes, thank you.
Bit royal blue, isn't it?
Ipswich, yeah. And Mexico bring it towards the halfway line. So half an hour played here. Mexico 0, Poland 0. If you just got back into your car, we will have a roundup of the day's news. But for the World Cup drive, Tony and Claire just taking a little bit of a rest. As the ball is played in from the left-hand side, Glick is underneath that to head it away. And Mexico are back in possession though. Alvarez. Who do you think's edging this at the moment?
Mexico. They just look like they've got a bit more edge about them, a bit more energy. I think this battle with Lozano and Berienski, I'm not too sure in this game whether or not he's going to be able to keep Lozano at bay.
Matty Cash was in on the challenge there. The Mexicans wanted a free kick. Cash takes it on downfield, but as the challenge comes in on him from Hector Moreno, he knocked the ball downfield and eventually it played back onto him and out of play for a throw into Mexico.
Do you not think that Poland look like when they do get that breakaway, they've got Lewandowski in the middle, but there's not too much support at the moment, is there? Not too many players looking like they can get forward and get hold of the ball, and a lot of the green Mexican shirts really getting back quickly and just snuffing all these kind of attacks out.
It is Mexico 0, Poland 0. After the earlier match, our last commentary match finished 0-0. Denmark and Tunisia, a decent match. So more on that to come. And then still one more commentary today. So this is the first day at this World Cup where we've got 4 matches in one day, which is very much the pattern over the course of the next week or so. So it is France. The holders are in action tonight against Australia. Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton are in action together again tonight. They're at the Al Janoub Stadium. So France, Australia, lots of domestic matches as well that we'll be keeping you across during the course of the evening. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff GMT, so a 10 o'clock kickoff here. It is Mexico coming forward, and the ball is played forward by Alexis Vega, who had actually come across to the right-hand side momentarily, but that ball was overhit through to Szczesny, and he's now back over on the left.
Yeah, it switched sides with Lozano, came on it and just got it onto his left foot, tried to chip that little angle ball, but they've just created far more little opportunities like that, John, haven't they? The movement of the front three and attacking midfield play has been a little bit better. They look more creative than Poland.
Still 0-0. And it is Krychowiak who plays the ball forward, and it reaches Zalewski, who plays for Jose Mourinho at Roma. And then it is with Berezinski again, who is just inside the Mexican half. Back to Kivior on the halfway line, and he uses Glick, and then it is out to Matty Cash, who is playing as a right back. There's a suggestion tonight it might be as a right wing back, but he's winning what is his 8th cap for Poland tonight, the Aston Villa man, born in Slough, but his mother Barbara, he qualified through his mother Barbara and took up Polish citizenship last year. It was quite a fanfare, if you remember, when he actually got his passport, his citizenship. And actually, if you are able to look up the story of his grandfather, Richard, it is an amazing story. And I think when you see that and hear it, you can understand why he felt so strongly about representing Poland, because of what it meant to his family. Basically, as a youngster, they ended up in a work camp in Siberia during the war, and now here he is representing Poland at the World Cup for the first time, and this, I'm sure, will of course be another proud day for him. Mexico 0, Poland 0. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Szczesny takes this latest goal kick for Poland. Hector Herrera gets up there and heads it out of play right on the halfway line. The Polish coach, Czesław Michniewicz, comes forward in his dark blue suit and hand on his hip, watches Berezinski just a few yards to his left, taking this throw back into his own half. He does to Kivior. It's been played at a good pace, this match.
Just settled a little bit, hasn't it?
As you say, Mexico, I think, have carried the greater threat, but really in terms of clear goal-scoring opportunities, there's not been too many.
No, very little. A couple of nice chances created by Mexico, but I think Poland have done a pretty good job now at just steadying this game. It was always going to be frantic very early on, especially with the support around the stadium and how intense that noise and energy was. But it's just kind of just settled now. Mexican supporters are just simmering a little bit, sat down in their seat and just observing the game. It's just taking a bit more of a steady pace.
Mexico 0, Poland 0 in Stadium 974. Throw in for Poland, halfway inside the Mexican half. But Berezinski will take, just holding ball above his head. looking for the options, which aren't immediately obvious, so he goes for a long throw towards Lewandowski on the edge of the penalty area. Not had a chance yet, Lewandowski. They've looked after him well, the two central defenders, particularly Cesar Montes. But now Mexico break with Gallardo on the left-hand side, and Gallardo up against Cash, goes for the early cross into the penalty area. He was looking for the run of Alexis Vega, but Szczesny, who towers over Vega, was never likely to lose out in that, and was able to leap forward and catch it into his midriff.
He's been bright. Gallardo, the left back for Mexico, been really impressed with him. Defended well, going back towards his own goal and just getting forwards all the time, looking to make those passes, whip balls in behind the Poland back for any attacking players, and he's had a good first half so far.
He's another one who does play in Mexico for Monterrey, as Poland play the ball forward up towards the right-hand side. Zielinski with a touch, then it comes back to Cash, and infield to Glick with the very short blonde hair. Kivior now, long left-footed pass from him. Gallardo couldn't leave it. He had to get his head to it, but he did well actually at pace, got back into position in front of Szymanski and headed it out down the right-hand side, throwing to Szymanski. And then out of play for another Polish throw. Matty Cash is going to take this almost up level with the edge of the Mexican penalty area, which he does. That's intercepted by Mexico, and then there's a foul, there's a push by Krychowiak, and it's a free kick to Mexico halfway inside their own half. Still goalless.
Yeah, just a shove in the back from Krychowiak. Just pushes the Mexican player in his back, and ball just ricochets. It was quite a clear foul. Referee saw the shove, was right on top of it.
I thought you were having another one of those chills there for a moment.
There was a bit of a chill going on, wasn't there?
Yeah. Mexico 0, Poland 0. Alvarez giving it to Gallardo on the left-hand side in the yellow boots. And now Mexico just shuffling forward with it towards the halfway line. Cesar Montes. Robert Lewandowski just lurking, not far away from the two central defenders. A very obvious threat. Lewandowski, I mean, to say that he's not yet scored in the World Cup is correct. 3 appearances 4 years ago, wasn't able to get onto the score sheet, and that was despite 3 shots in target. So in the 3 matches, just 3 shots on target.
You really fancy him to score tonight, don't you?
You know, I don't often put my neck on the line, Matt, as you know.
Well, I've just put it out there,
as is rightly discussed. But I really, really fancy him to get it tonight. But Mexico coming forward down the left, the cross finds Lozano on the right, and Lozano across. But an important piece of interception and defending to put it behind the near post. And that there were 3 Mexican shirts just around the edge of the 6-yard box, and that was a crucial interception.
But you see Hector Herrera again arriving in the 6-yard box as Lozano just pulls that ball back onto that line, and he is getting everywhere, Hector Herrera, at the moment. I mean, he's taken a really different role, actually. He's normally a bit of a break-up play merchant at times, but he's far more attacking for Mexico.
Yeah, really positive, isn't it? The corner is played back, and it is that man, Hector Herrera, again. The ball played from the corner right back almost into centre field, and then he gives it back to Alexis Vega, who's come across to the right for the set piece, back to Herrera, and Herrera comes in field, and actually was in 2 minds there. He had Polish players either side of him, and in the end he just kind of stabbed it towards the edge of the penalty area, and Poland were able to clear all the way downfield. And I think you can hear the frustration there from the Mexican supporters, who felt that they had a corner, and I don't think they ever got the ball into the penalty area.
They weren't happy with that, were they?
They were not.
I mean, to be fair, Gallardo did pass the ball back to his goalkeeper from nearly halfway inside the Poland half. And I think straight away the Mexican supporters really didn't agree with that. They want to see more high-tempo attacking play. I suppose that's a little bit of credit to Poland for that, the way they've just sat in and been able to just do their job, not made any mistakes. They've been pretty efficient, which is why we've not really had any clear-cut chances in this game as of yet.
But they are good at that. They know their roles, and even when, if you remember, Paulo Sousa was the coach at the start of the qualifying campaign, because they were in England's group. I remember well him coming to Wembley, and the 2 matches against England were very tight. The 1-1 in Warsaw, when Poland scored a lead equaliser, and then a narrow 2-1 defeat to England at Wembley in the other match in the group, but England ending up top of the group, and Poland went through to the playoff, where they were, if you remember, due to play Russia, and then of course the invasion of Ukraine happened, and Poland got straight through to the final, where they knocked out Sweden. As Poland play it forward down the left, but that's too far ahead of Szymanski, who can't reach that, and it's a throw-in for Mexico, level with the edge of their own penalty area.
I mean, just listen to how there was a tackle from Lozano there, how that raised the Mexican crowd. I mean, it was how to tackle from behind fairly. He was running back to the ball and he kind of slid down the side of the play and then hooked his right foot round, won the ball cleanly. It ricocheted into touch. It was a brilliant tackle. It just really lifted the crowd for a moment.
Glick chests the ball down, volleys it up towards the edge of the Mexican penalty area, but they're able to clear him now. Alvarez, but Krychowiak now centrally, well, he went down rather easily there after a minimal shove in the back from Lozano. Went sprawling down under the turf, but got the free kick.
I think it was a classic holding midfield player, turning his back on the player and just taking the contact, wasn't he? Knew it was coming, not enough to knock him over, but just went over, and it just looks like such a clear foul that the referee always gives it.
Yeah, Chris Beath, who will have, I'm sure, we can't see it from here, but he'll have his name on the back of his shirt. I don't know whether people at home have clocked this yet, but the referees at this World Cup, and as far as I can recall, this is the first time that I've seen this, referees all have their names on the back of their shirts in very small writing, but it is there right up at the top of the back of their shirts. Thoughts on that, Mert?
Well, and the purpose?
Well,
are you aware?
I mean, I suppose it means that the shirt will be a lovely momentum for them. Memento for it.
Is he sure it's not for the players, just to so they know
who the ref is? Yeah.
Instead of oi ref.
Here's Lozano on the right-hand side. Lozano plays the ball into the penalty area. Left-footed cross. Oh, Glick got his head to it. Szczesny came, but the defender was able to get there before the goalkeeper, and Poland are able to play it out from the back. Nice little combination with Jorge Sanchez, though, getting forward from the right back position.
It's another flurry from Mexico, but that's all we're getting at the moment. Just these flurries of play, especially in wide areas on this right-hand side, and maybe a little bit more than the left with Lozano on the right, but no clear-cut balls. There's not, when you look at a target in the box for Mexico, there's not really one to hit, is there, in terms of when the ball's wide with crosses. Poland look pretty comfortable dealing with that.
Mexico have won the ball back. That was lost rather carelessly, and Alexis Vega, big cheer from him. He went the full 360 degrees to keep possession. And the Mexican fans now, we've had 43 minutes of the first half, and I think they've wound themselves up, trying to encourage their team to a strong finish to this first half. Ball's played in by Luis Chavez, diving header away, back to Chavez. Now Lozano with a cross. Krychowiak got his head to it. The volley from Gallardo on the far side of the penalty area. I beg your pardon, it was Alexis Vega on that far side, but that was blocked, that source, by Poland, and Mexico start again. There's a bit of momentum here from Mexico. I think they feel that they might have a chance of a breakthrough before the break. We are in the 45th minute though. Lozano into the box. Lozano, was he blocked now? He went down, and then the shot from Jorge Sanchez from the right-hand side that is pushed over the top. It was heading into the top corner, and Szczesny got up, pushed it over. It's not a free kick, it's a corner from the right.
What did you make of the way Szczesny dealt with that? It was a bit of a bizarre piece of goalkeeping. I think Lozano wanted to foul, but not convincing from Szczesny. It's like he tried to catch it, wasn't it? Got two hands on it and then almost like flapped it over the crossbar.
It was a fumble, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He did enough he had enough contact on it to push it over the top.
He got the job done.
Yeah. Corner then from the right, which is whipped into the near post, and it drops under the chin of Szczesny, who's able to catch it and hold on to it securely. So we see the Australian fourth official who's coming forward. In fact, I beg your pardon, it's Stephanie Frappard who is the fourth official. The French referee who is down there, the assistants and the referee are Australian, but Stephanie Frappard is the fourth official, and she indicates that we will have 2 minutes of additional time at the end of the first half. What's happened to this World Cup? 2 minutes?
It's unheard of.
Where are the usual 12?
Double figures we're used to, aren't we?
Yeah. So just about 90 seconds before we'll be back to Kelly Cates at half-time, and we will have a full roundup of the news if you are hoping to catch that on what is normally Drive on 5 Live. But it is Mexico 0, Poland 0. Luis Chavez to the right-hand side to Lozano, and that's another good-looking cross. Cash is up there to head it back across towards the right from where it came, and it arrives back with Lozano again. And Lozano uses Luis Chavez left foot, but it was Szymanski who threw himself into the path of that attempted cross, and Mexico have got it back again on the halfway line.
I think it was a shot, John, wasn't it? I mean, it was a really ambitious effort, I think, from Chavez there. It was quite a long way out, tried to hit it with his left foot. Good block.
It's round about the same sort of range that I saw Maxi Rodriguez score that goal for Mexico against Argentina all those years ago. Here is Lozano again, goes back towards the halfway line. Just going back to the referee, when I was growing up, we always used to say you can tell a good referee because nobody knows his name. So that's out of the window if they've got their names on the back of their shirts.
I mean, a good referee shouldn't be noticed, should they? I mean, they play such an important part in the game, obviously. But, yeah, interesting. A nice memento, isn't it?
Well, it is a nice memento. And, it is 2022, times have changed. Here is Hector Herrera in the middle of the field. I must say his performance has got a little bit of in fact there it is, there's the half-time whistle. Hector Herrera has been as effective as anyone, but no goals in the first half. I think with Hector Herrera it has the feel of the manager saying to him, I want you to give me absolutely all you've got for an hour. And he's certainly done that. So plenty of effort, plenty of perspiration out there, but very little end product. Matt Upson.
Plenty of atmosphere as well, John. I think we need to add it's been a really good atmosphere around this stadium, very close quarters to stand to the pitch, and they certainly played a part in the first 20 minutes or so. Poland settled themselves after a bit of a rocky start, but they've never really had control of this game at all. It's been all Mexico in terms of the way they've been probing. They've got Lewandowski up front, Poland, so you know there's always a goal threat in them. But Mexico look like creating more, but just a little bit toothless, isn't it? When the ball's wide, you're not too sure they've really got any players in the box that are going to get on the end of any of these crosses.
So all of the sprinklers come on now in the inside the stadium on the pitch, and rather unusually for Mexico, all of the substitutes got off the bench. The Mexican substitutes got off the bench, went onto the field to go to their teammates, and they've all walked off together at half-time. High fives all round. High fives, but no goals. Mexico 0, Poland 0 at half-time. Yes, thank you, Kelly. Matt Upson sitting next to me here inside the stadium. Poland making a change. They're bringing on the Birmingham City man, Christian Bielik, the former Arsenal youngster, who is coming on, I guess, to play in central defence. That does look as though he's fitted in. Zalewski, the Roma youngster, has gone off. So that is one change that has been made by Poland and their coach Mikniewicz, who is in discussions with a member of his staff down on the edge of the coaching area.
It's quite a defensive change as well, John, isn't it? When you look at the switch of players, for sure. I mean, whether or not they feel that they just need to be solid and a draw would be a good result or not.
Just looking to see how that means that they have switched things around. So Bielik looks as though he's going to play. So are we now looking at three central defenders? Let's see how it unfolds itself as Cash plays the ball back to Szczesny, who takes one touch, hits it long, and they're not able to keep it in. Kaminski couldn't keep it in. It was way above his head, and it's out of play for a throw. So it is Mexico 0, Poland 0, as Bielik gets his first touch playing the ball away from the back, and it's headed down infield. We've not seen much in terms of a sense of adventure so far from Poland, and we're not absolutely sure whether Robert Lewandowski has even had a touch inside the Mexican penalty area yet.
No, well, he hasn't had a lot of service to go on. He's had a lot of balls fired into him at a really difficult height. He's not really had any support if the ball has gone forward. It's almost like the rest of the Poland team isn't up with the level or the pace of the game if they get any kind of breakaway, and at the moment he's very much a lone figure down the middle there for Poland.
So it is Mexico 0, Poland 0. In actual fact, Christian Bielik has taken over position in the middle of midfield. So he's playing alongside Krychowiak in there. Cross from the left-hand side, but that's way overhit, and it's out of play, and it floats behind for a goal kick to Mexico. The Mexican team, as they started the match with the veteran Ochoa winning his 132nd cap tonight, captaining the team. Sanchez, Montes, Moreno and Gallardo are the back four. Gallardo has caught the eye certainly from left back. Then Herrera, very mobile central midfielder, with Edson Alvarez and Luis Chavez either side of him. Then Lozano on the right, Vega on the left, and Henry Martin up front.
I mean, I think it might be a little bit more positive than what you think. I know the switch looks not a positive one, but it looks like they've gone a bit of a 4-4-1-1 now, Poland, and Zelensky's really tried to push up with Lewandowski and fill that little number 10 void, whether or not just to give him that support. There's no link between the midfield and Lewandowski, so I think Zelensky's going to try and provide that.
The ball over on the left-hand side with Poland, and they clear it up towards Lewandowski, who drew that free kick. He knew that the defender Jorge Sanchez was coming, looked over his shoulder, and then as the contact was made, down he went and won the free kick halfway inside his own half. So yes, it is for Poland, Szczesny in goal, the former Arsenal man, and then the same back four, Cash, Glick, Kiwior and Berezinski. And then in midfield, Bielik has slotted into the centre alongside Krychowiak, Szymanski and Zielinski in there, and Kaminski in there as well. And then, as Matt said, Zielinski of Napoli playing alongside Lewandowski. Poland win a free kick, and it is Szymanski who's won it out on the left-hand side. So a free kick for Poland, set-piece opportunity. That's where they've been so effective in recent World Cups in scoring the goals that they have. So up come the central defenders, Glick and Kiwior. Extra added height now as well, with Christian Bielik in there as well. So a free kick, the Mexican crowd, this large contingent of Mexicans inside the ground whistling as the free kick is whipped in but overhit by a distance, and it bounces through. The delivery from Zielinski on his right foot, he put way too much on that and it bounced wide of the far post. So actually Poland so far have had a total of one attempt on goal, and that is it. It is a very containing approach from Poland, but we know, because we've seen them in the World Cup group, same World Cup group as England, you know, it can work for them.
I think also, I mean, is it the last three, they've lost the last two or something like that. I mean, they've lost a lot of early games when they've been involved in the World Cup. Whether or not the mindset is, look, if we get off this pitch here this evening and we've got a draw, I think, given what happened earlier, I think that's a pretty good start for Poland, given the fact that they're not an adventurous team. They've not got that confidence to get forward and be that creative. So I think maybe for them, perhaps that is a bit of a mindset that they've gone into this game and look to be solid ahead of anything, be hard to beat, be organised and don't concede. And I think that appears to be the strategy they're taking. It looks very much that type of system now. There's a real two banks of four sat close together, and they're just going to be hard to try and break down.
Mexico 0, Poland 0. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and it is Mexico in possession just inside the Polish half. The ball is played across to Alvarez, Edson Alvarez, who curls the ball out towards the right hand side, and now it'll be brought forward up that right flank for Mexico. Lozano turns away from the challenge that comes in on him and then scoops the ball into the penalty area, and it is blocked behind for a corner to Mexico. There's much slapping of hands inside the penalty area for the work that was done in there. Szczesny comes in as well, and there's a little word from him of congratulation for Christian Bielik, it was, who put in the challenge, having just come onto the field. So free kick for Mexico from the far side. Still goalless in this second match of the day in Group C. Mexican corner comes into the near post, and Szczesny had to come and punch that. There was a moment of hesitation from him. Mexican players arriving in on him, but the goalkeeper was in the end able to stretch forward and get a punch on that and clear the penalty area and punch it back out to the far side where it came. Mexico playing from right to left as we look, and now Lozano shooting from 25 yards or so, but didn't get the whip that he wanted on it, and actually Szczesny was able to move quickly 2 or 3 steps to his left and grab the ball into his chest.
I mean, if there's any kind of goal threat coming from Mexico, it's coming from Lozano or Vega. it was Martin who was throwing himself in front of Szczesny on that set piece. But the two wide players for Mexico, I mean, it's the type of situation in trickery that a centre forward like Lewandowski would thrive off, isn't it? The amount of little clever passes, chip balls over the top. They're really creative, the pair of them. But again, a little bit toothless from Mexico.
Yeah, comes forward to the edge of the Mexican box, where Cesar Montes is able to come across and just hook it with his right foot out of play for a throw to Poland down the left-hand side. Yeah, there is a touch of let's not lose our opening match again at a big tournament. And if they are able to snatch it and win it, great. But it looks very much from the way that they've set themselves up here that they would very happily take a draw from this.
They're not turned up to set the stadium alight, have they?
They have not. No. Mexico 0, Poland 0. Mexico with the ball deep inside their own half. And again, Poland are able to win the ball back. Lewandowski on the edge of the penalty area, trying to battle his way to the ball. The try comes out. The ball runs free, but runs free into the 6-yard box to the feet of Gallardo, who was able to run it away and clear it away. And Lewandowski almost there by sheer force of will as much as anything else found a way through. Long one over the top for Mexico, and it is the Mexicans who break, and a free kick is given against Kibio's challenge. And the Polish players complain about this, but it has been given, and referee Beith, the Australian, is speaking to Glick, the Polish captain, who's pointing his finger at him, but it is a free kick.
It is. It's just a bit of a clumsy foul from Kiwa. Just pulls him down right in front of the referee as well. If you put your arms over the shoulders and back of a player as they're falling, you don't have to put enough pressure on them to knock them over. But I think there's a check going on at the moment, John.
There is.
A penalty check, and I think it's from the chance with Lewandowski and Moreno.
Yeah.
When that ball popped loose, Moreno didn't get any of the ball. They were really grabbing. I mean, Lewandowski was literally straining every muscle in his body to get to this ball. Moreno was the wrong side, didn't contact the ball, but it looked a little bit of a 50-50 for me.
That's right. I was just going to say, we're just about to see it again here. I mean, shoulder to shoulder.
He's holding his shirt.
He has got his shirt, but is that significant?
No, it isn't, because your arms across the player, you naturally grab.
Hang on.
That'd be harsh. That'd be so
The referee
harsh.
has indicated that he's going to have a look at the video. And we saw what happened yesterday when you and I were at the England game, and the John Stones grab on the shirt, which led to the penalty. And the question is, what is Lewandowski doing here? It's not just what Moreno is doing.
Because they're equal. Lewandowski is not in front of Moreno. They're literally shoulder to shoulder grappling. The goalkeeper's coming out. His arms across Lewandowski. He has grabbed a chunk of his shot, but he's not pulling his shirt. You know when you see a tug of the shirt to pull someone back? He's not doing that. He's just grabbing hold of him. It's perfectly kind of the natural thing to do.
Here comes the referee. He's spoken to his Australian colleague Sean Evans. It's the rectangle. It's a penalty. It's a penalty to Poland, and it's a yellow card for Moreno. And I have to say, I know that there was a handful of shirt. Moreno had a handful of Lewandowski's shirt, but that seems an incredibly harsh award of a penalty because of the nature of the two players challenging together.
Yeah, this isn't a centre-half union thing. This is just two players grappling for the ball. Lewandowski knows that. I mean, I think they've almost got a hold of each other's shirts almost. I know he hasn't tugged his shirt, Lewandowski, but his hand's right across his chest. Yes, Moreno's got hold of his shirt with his hand, but he's not holding him back with it. That's the point. His arm's on his chest, he's got hold of his shirt, but he's not pulling him with that shirt. It's just a grapple for the ball. It's 50-50, shoulder to shoulder. I'm really in disagreement with the referee's decision on that.
Well, there's been a clear directive, obviously, that they are not going to stand for shirts being pulled in the penalty area. We saw it yesterday. That resulted in a penalty for Iran, and now we've seen it again. It seems like a harsh award, but I know there will also be people saying, well, he pulled the shirt of the attacking player. So here is the moment then. It is Robert Lewandowski who is going to take the penalty, and from 12 yards he will have an opportunity here to score his first goal at a World Cup. He'll have to beat the great Mexican goalkeeper Guillermo Ochoa. who tonight is winning his 132nd cap. Bags and bags and bags of experience. He's standing off the line at the moment, so he's not ready. He's trying to put pressure on Robert Lewandowski. But Lewandowski, who has scored more goals than anyone else for Poland,
That's a deep breath though, John.
has scored goals everywhere he's been. But this is the pressure of the World Cup. But from the penalty spot, Lewandowski right footed save! Ochoa saves it! There's an almighty scramble inside the penalty area! And Mexico were able to get it away, and listen to the noise inside the stadium here. Ochoa diving down to his left, and now as the ball's out of play, they celebrate this penalty as though it's one of the greatest moments in their World Cup existence. There's a double clench of the fist from the goalkeeper Ochoa. And now, hang on, what's
Did he go
happened here?
early? He went early.
Has he left his line? What's happening? The players have gone to the referee, the ball's out of play. No, the referee says play on, and so the penalty save counts. Hearts were in mouths there for a moment, but Lewandowski is denied his first goal at a World Cup after Ochoa saves the penalty.
Well, I said while you were just in your rhythm there, he took a deep breath. And did you look at his face on the monitor here? He had a look on his face, Lewandowski. It just, his facial expression, he really felt that pressure. You could tell with the penalty, it wasn't his best.
Almost an hour played, and it's still Mexico 0, Poland 0. And Mexico coming forward on the right-hand side. Here's a cross into the corner of the 6-yard box, and the ball is headed out of play. Apparently, I don't know where, Juliet's with us here, and I said she had a roaring roll, Juliet Farrington, and she's come up with the information that, let me just find that again, we'll just get it in a moment or two, I'll come back to that. This is all about the noise inside this ground. Mexico crossing from the right-hand side. Glick gets under it, heads it away. It comes out. The chance for Vega. Blocked by the defender. He jumped into the way of it. Then Vega goes down. Mexico want the penalty. That's not being given. Vega was on the ground. He gets back up, but he was offside. So it's a free kick to Poland. And what we're hearing is that the sound levels hit 90 decibels inside the ground.
Where did we start?
Well, I don't know.
Where do we go?
We've got the official decibel level first of all. That's the most
let's get
important
that out of the way.
Yep.
And it is very loud. But I'm just looking at the replay of the penalty. Lewandowski, it's not the best. He goes to his right, the goalkeeper Ochoa's left, and it was just off the ground. He did hit it with a lot of pace and conviction.
There's the referee's just running off the field because he's going to show a yellow card to Tata Martino, the Mexican coach, and he's saying, Gerardo Martino is saying, is that for me or is that for a member of my coaching staff?
I think he's a member of his staff.
And now he's standing with his palms apart down there and looking to Stephanie Frappard, the fourth official, and saying,
she's just checking his accreditation, whether he should be there or not. Is he in the right zone?
Has she got one of those guns that you fire at the QR code these days? Right, you're in the flow there, Matt.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot's happened, isn't it? The penalty, I mean, for me, he's missed the penalty, but it shouldn't have been awarded in the first place, in my opinion. But it just shows you that pressure that he must have felt, because we're talking about one of the most confident, decorated goal scorers that's ever been. Unbelievable. And the weight of that occasion must have been big, because he didn't hit that penalty with conviction, and then Mexico goes straight up the other end on attack. Vega on the floor tries to win a penalty. The ball pops back to him. It's quite funny when a player's appealing and the ball comes back to him, all of a sudden they jump up and want to play on. I mean, it was just all happening, wasn't it? There was like 60 seconds of madness.
Now Berezinski's gone down. He's been caught by Lozano. It was a late tackle, that actually. And so we've got a stoppage in play, and we've got a chance to just take stock here. It is still Mexico 0, Poland 0. And I know that it is entirely possible that you might have just got back into your car, and it's not been a match filled with chances, this, but it's been played at a great pace and with great endeavour, as you might say. Mexico are more on the front foot. But Poland have just been playing for that opportunity, and they got it there with almost an hour gone. We feel it's a quite fortunate penalty appeal that they got, a penalty award that they got from VAR, and perhaps justice was done by Ochoa keeping it out from Lewandowski.
Well, it's from the referee, isn't it? Because he checked the monitor, he had the final call. They thought it was dubious enough for him to go and put his eyes on it, but I just think I get the shirt. I really dislike shirt pulling in terms of when an opponent's going past you and you grab their shirt and you impede them from doing that.
The clearance from Kivior actually hit Henry Martin and nearly bounced. It was on target. That will go down in the old statistics. Statman Dave will be writing that down even as we speak, or he'll be tapping it into his tablet, and that will be counted in the statistics when it comes to the end of the night. But Chesney was able to get across and save it. There is another piece of football news that we've just heard as Mexico win a free kick on the halfway line, and that is, I'm afraid to say, that England and Arsenal's Beth Mead has suffered a ruptured anterior cruciate ligament. That was in the WSL match against Manchester United on Saturday, and she is now going to have an extended period out of the game, and she will see a surgeon in the coming days. So that's really tough on her.
Wish her well.
Well, that's sport, isn't it?
From
the highs to the lows.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Mexico take... Oh, with a shot! Pick Martin! Edson Alvarez had a goal from 35 yards. It hit Henry Martin. Whether he was in an offside position or not, I'm not sure. But that was a significant deflection. And Szczesny changed direction to leap to his left. It was still close-ish to him, but he still had to make the save, and he did.
It's actually a really clever flick from Martin. Brilliant glancing head. He ran across the line of the ball and just glanced it with his head, trying to just deflect it past Szczesny.
As Poland win the ball back inside their own half. It's coming to life now, this game, Matt.
It's livened up a bit since that penalty, isn't it?
It has. Mexico 0, Poland 0. Still waiting for the first goal, though, as Cesar Montes is able to take the ball down and play it out of play on the far side. So a decent save from Szczesny after that glanced deflection from Martin, and it remains 0-0. So as we heard at half-time, Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton are now in position for the later match, which is a 10 o'clock kick-off here in Qatar, but a 7 o'clock kick-off GMT back at home. France against Australia. So the defending champions, the holders, the world champions, are about to enter this World Cup with their first match in Group D, where earlier it finished Denmark 0, Tunisia 0, as Mexico win a free kick in their own right back position. And tomorrow we start again, 4 more matches as Groups E and F get underway. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, Morocco-Croatia is the first offering tomorrow. I quite like Croatia's chances at this World Cup again, I do. And then Germany-Japan, Spain-Costa Rica, and Belgium-Canada. So this time tomorrow night, Spain-Costa Rica. And the kick-off times, if you're not familiar with them now, 10, 1, 4, 7 in the UK. Mexico 0, Poland 0. Great noise inside the stadium. The decibel levels have just hit 95. I don't know what that means, but I do know that it's very loud. As the ball is played forward to Gallardo. Now here is Alexis Vega. Gallardo's continued his run. A low ball into the near post. Martin tries to turn, but the defender is there with him. Well defended by Kivior. But Mexico still in possession. And now the right back, Sanchez. Lozano on the far side. He leaves it. Oh, and that's a wasteful effort from the angle. Alexis Vega went for it, but wildly and wide from near the corner of the box, and it is a goal kick to Poland.
Another situation, the ball into Martin, and he just tried to hold it up. I mean, it was difficult to swivel and get your shot off. It was decent defended from Kiwior. The Polish centre-half just stood his ground, were able to manoeuvre Martin out of the way and not allow him to turn. It was quite good defending, actually, but a difficult little moment for Poland, and there's been a few of those in this game.
So the big story here tonight in this match, Robert Lewandowski missing his opportunity to score his first World Cup goal from the penalty spot, or at least it was saved. But Poland come again. Lewandowski back to goal in the D, gives it out to the left-hand side. Szymanski is there, his cross is blocked, and Mexico are able to clear through their right back Sanchez up to the halfway line to The actually quite mobile Henry Martin. Raul Jimenez of Wolves is on the bench tonight, still getting over the calf injury that's kept him out for such a long time. Here is Vega again on the left-hand side, who is upended by Matty Cash. He's saying that he got the ball, but the referee says he got the man as well, and it is a free kick to Mexico.
I think he got both, to be honest. Probably about at the same time. Maybe, he actually just catches the foot of Vega. It is a foul. He doesn't contact the ball. He's very close to the ball, but he just stamps on the foot, and Matty Cash really does throw his arms up in the air, really protesting, but he hasn't got a case. The referee was spot on.
And Mexico are now going to bring on Raul Jimenez and also Carlos Rodriguez, Charlie Rodriguez as they call him. So a double change coming up for Mexico, and we will see Raul Jimenez stepping into this World Cup. But first, Mexico have got a free kick on the left, still 0-0, and in its play towards the far post, and it comes off a Mexican head. There were probably 6 players in there challenging for it. It may well have been Hector Moreno who got the touch on that, and that took it beyond the far post and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was Moreno that got the contact on the ball. I thought it was actually quite a good opportunity. He didn't quite make good contact. It was difficult. There's a lot of bodies in there. It's quite good defending in the end from Kiroviak.
Yeah,
the number 10.
He's taken a ball on the boot, actually. I think he caught a boot of one of his opponents as he fell. But it is a goal kick. Mexico 0, Poland 0. 25 minutes to play here. And then coming up shortly after that, you will hear France against Australia, because coverage of every match continues at this World Cup on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and you can rewind the live radio as well, so you can listen again to the commentary. So listen to the England match yesterday, listen to the Wales match last night, just by rewinding 5 Live and going in the schedule and looking for the time concerned. The ball just rolling out of play and behind for a goal kick to Mexico. Still, they've not made these 2 changes yet. These will be Mexico's first 2 substitutions of this match. Mexico 0, Poland 0.
It's almost like Lewandowski puts that penalty away. It's almost like a perfectly executed game plan at that point, isn't it? Just sit deep, soak it up, wait for any little. It doesn't matter what this opportunity is for Poland. It can be scrappy, it can be like that penalty, maybe not fair, maybe not, it shouldn't be awarded, but that's how they've gone about this game, to not get beaten and to try and nick something up at the other end.
Foul by Krychowiak on Herrera. Mexico take the free kick, play it down the right hand side, and then down tumbles Henry Martin in the Polish left-back area. They're howling for a free kick, but it's not given. And we will see these 2 changes now. And it is Hector Herrera who's put, well, a heck of an effort in tonight from Hector. And that's it. So he has played the first hour and a bit. So he is off. And also Henry Martin as well. So it is centre forward for centre forward. And here is Raul Jimenez, the Wolverhampton Wanderers centre forward, who's not played for Wolves since August, but has got fit just in time for the World Cup. Not to be in the starting 11, but for him, after coming back from that absolutely horrendous head injury, to now play at his 3rd World Cup, that's a proud moment for him. And he is on to play up front and win what is his 96th cap for Mexico. And also Poland making a change. Szymanski is coming off, and he is being replaced by Przemysław Frankowski of Lens, who is coming on, and he plays as a winger. So he has made his way out towards the left-hand side. So he's effectively going to play where Zalewski has played for most of the match.
That's right. I mean, great to see Jimenez on the pitch, and don't be surprised if he can impact this game. It almost, fitness-wise, sharpness doesn't matter. If he's in the right place in that box at the right time with his physicality, ability to head the ball, don't be surprised if he plays a key part in this game.
So Mexico have got their number 9 on the field. Carlos Rodriguez is on as well, the number 8. And Poland with a free kick, long into the Mexican penalty area. I think it might have come off the defender. No, referee Beef says the final touch was off the Polish player, and it is a goal kick to Mexico. Carlos Rodriguez coming on into the midfield, and he took over from Herrera, and Martin off and replaced by Jimenez. So Mexico 0, Poland 0. Just under a quarter of the match to go. So the onus on these sides. I mean, what the opportunity that Saudi Arabia's win against Argentina has given these teams, but to take advantage of that, they've got to win this game, one or the other of them. And I suppose it's loaded the stakes in advance of this match as well. Everyone down there will know that. And the other unknown is, what does Saudi Arabia do next in this group? And Poland plays Saudi Arabia on Saturday in their next match in the group.
Well, that'll be a challenge for Poland, won't it, to see how they approach that. I mean, at the moment, looking at how both those teams have played, you wouldn't be surprised if Saudi Arabia come out on the front foot and try and take it to Poland, but perhaps that'll suit Poland. They seem to like playing like this. I mean, it isn't that entertaining, but it's proven to be quite hard to break down, certainly for Mexico.
That's Matt Upson, England World Cup player. We're watching Poland take possession, flicked by Lewandowski. Now it's taken on by Bielik, who gives it to the left-hand side. This could be an opening for Poland. Across comes the ball from the left, but a sliding interception steers that wide by Hector Moreno, and it is a corner to Poland from their left.
I think it was a Poland player gone down in the box there. The collision with Gallardo, it's not a foul or anything. He's trying to win a penalty there. The left-back, Mexican left-back Gallardo, just got across in a great position. He's been excellent in this game, really solid. The like of positions he takes up, he tucks in really well when the ball's on the right-hand side. He's a good left-back, the Mexican.
Corner for Poland, still 0-0 into the near post, but Raúl Jiménez is there and is able to get up and head it away unchallenged for Mexico. I think that's his first touch, and then the ball is deflected out on the far side for a throw-in to Poland. News just arriving us, yet more footballing news, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo is to leave Manchester United by mutual agreement with immediate effect. So that is it. That chapter has closed, as we knew it would really after the interview last week. Cristiano Ronaldo is no longer a Manchester United player. Matt Upson.
Just any more footballing earthquakes up your sleeve today, John? I mean, it's just one thing after another, isn't it? Results, news like that. I mean, very sad to see it end that way. Such a great player, but you know, this is football. Things have happened, and I suppose there's no way forward. But very sad.
But we knew really as soon as that news began to eke out the other day about the interview, and indeed Manchester United it is who've confirmed that, and the club say Mexico got a free kick here. It's a yellow card for the newly arrived Frankowski, who's only just come onto the field, fouling Lozano, just stepped on his foot, so that's a yellow card for Frankowski. Going back to Ronaldo, Manchester United say they thank him for his immense contribution across 2 spells at Old Trafford, and they confirm that Cristiano Ronaldo is to leave Manchester United by mutual agreement. So that is it. Finally, now at the age of 37 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo's association with Manchester United has ended. Mexico coming forward, cross from the left-hand side. That is headed away by Kivior, and then Lewandowski is able to hold the ball up. Frankowski takes it on, down he goes. I think there might have been caught by a flailing arm in there. There were defenders either side of him, and it has been given as a free kick.
As Montez just caught him with a forearm as he twisted out of that situation. He won the ball fairly with a left-footed tackle, but momentum took him straight in and just caught him with his forearm. He's been good, Montez, next to him. That's a nice partnership. You've got the experience of Moreno with the youth of Montez, and he's got a lot of height about him as well, the Mexican young centre-back. He's had a decent game today. He's really got close to Lewandowski, especially when the ball's broken down. There's been a bit of a turnover, and Mexico have lost that ball. He's really been in the close vicinity of Lewandowski and made it difficult for him to get hold of the ball.
Yes, Cesar Montes is his name, and he is tipped potentially for a move to one of the big European clubs. So he is very much out of the mould of the elegant central defender that we were talking about in the first half, Matt Upson.
A little bit rugged as well, John. Got a little bit of ruggedness.
Not as elegant as some. Mexico 0, Poland 0, in front of 39,369. I'm not sure that it's quite that many, but it's not far short of that. It's a 40,000 capacity stadium.
Does it feel bigger than a 40,000?
It does, actually.
Yeah, it just seems bigger. And maybe that's because what I like about it, it's quite steep and quite on top of the pitch, isn't it? It's got that really enclosed feel about it.
Good venue. Yeah. This is the stadium you just switched on. This is the one that's been made out of old containers, shipping containers, and they'll all be reused after the World Cup. And actually, it's a big part of how this World Cup's been presented. But I did listen to Five Live programme, which was how green is this World Cup, about how sustainable it is or it isn't, which was a very interesting listen. You can find that on the All About section of the Five Live website, and indeed, of course, on BBC Sound. It will make you think. Long ball forward for Poland, but Mexico have got that. Guillermo Ochoa, great moment for him to save that penalty. He certainly enjoyed it, didn't he? He made the most of it. And I think the decibels there can't have been short of 100.
I'll tell you what, it was a good save. I said the penalty wasn't Lewandowski's greatest, it wasn't, but the anticipation, he guessed it bang on. His footwork, he did a little shimmy to his right first, Ochoa, and then he went to his left, got down low, strong left hand. Once he'd guessed it right, the save was quite simple because it wasn't that firm a penalty and it wasn't right in the corner, but just the anticipation and how light he was on his feet was brilliant.
Mexico 0, Poland 0, 15 minutes to go. So Cristiano Ronaldo has left Manchester United. There'll be more on that later. But Jimenez playing the ball forward to Sanchez, who's able to win a throw-in. It's deflected out by Berezinski, so it's a throw-in to Mexico, 10 yards back from the corner flag. Also, reports emerging today that Pep Guardiola is to sign a new 2-year contract, so that will keep him at Manchester City to 2025, but that's yet to be confirmed. But I think we knew that was coming. That was the mood music, wasn't it? And I think when you've got Erling Haaland playing up front for your team, and you've only been there for less than half a season, with him there and the potential that could unlock, there's a chance here for a shot from distance from Alexis Vega. It's a throw-in on the left that was taken by Gallardo, and he turned across it, allowed it to bounce. He was hoping it was going to sit up for him nicely, but he rather slashed the shot on the half volley just as it bounced up way wide over the top right corner.
He's an ambitious player, isn't he? Vega, not got a lot of fear, very feisty, plays in that manner, takes anything on at any time. And I've been impressed with the two wide players, really have. Lozano and him do offer a real threat.
Alexis Vega, he thought that was going to be his moment for World Cup glory.
It'd have been some goal.
Yeah. In fact, I think he might have dislodged about 25 sombreros as it bounced into the Mexican fans in the crowd. Mexico 0, Poland 0.
Wouldn't be fun sitting behind somebody with a sombrero, would it? See much of the game.
Particularly if they were exceptionally tall and they were wearing a sombrero.
Yeah, like someone
not far away. Krikowiak now to the right hand side. Cash for Poland, but across come two Mexican players and block it out for it bounced out near the corner flag. I think it was a throw.
I think
we'll see.
Looks like a corner. No.
Zielinski, it is a corner. It is a Polish corner.
This is a big opportunity again. I mean, we're not talking too much about Poland scoring since that penalty. They haven't looked much of a threat, but it's a set piece again.
Zielinski to take it, the Napoli man, one of the form players in this side. In it comes Lewandowski with a header, and then a stretch at the back post. Krychowiak got there, but it was blocked away from Mexico. And that's as close as Poland have come from open play, from a set piece. But Lewandowski stretched, couldn't direct it on target. But Mexico are away on the break. Here's Jimenez running at the Poland defence. 2 men to take on, but it runs away from him and through to Szczesny, who's able to pick it up like a back pass.
Yeah, he had a lot to do there, Jimenez. Never really fancied him once he got faced up by the Poland. I think it was a midfield player dropped in, and they recovered really, really well. But that chance up the other end should be a goal, John, for Poland. The cutback on the far side, once the corner had gone all the way through, he just plays that back across the goal to tap in for someone. It really was a great opportunity for Poland.
So Mexico 0, Poland 0. We'll have more on that news that Manchester United have announced this evening, that Cristiano Ronaldo is to leave the club with immediate effect. So more on that later. It'll be discussed, I'm sure, on the World Cup Daily podcast, so that'll be in the morning when you'll be able to download that for free. And Portugal's first game, when presumably Cristiano Ronaldo will be captaining Portugal, that is to be played in this stadium actually on Thursday. Portugal against Ghana in the late match. And Mexico coming forward on the left-hand side. Gallardo crossing, but it's blocked behind by Cash, so it's a Mexican corner from the left this time. And presumably Cristiano Ronaldo will be speaking tomorrow in the press conference in advance of that match alongside Fernando Santos.
It's a nicely timed piece of news, isn't it?
Well, it is. And I think it is. I think all of the captains have had to speak in the pre-match press conferences before the opening games. So Mexican corner, still 0-0. It's chipped into the near post. Jimenez challenged for it. He's headed away. It comes out centrally for Sanchez. He gives it back to Charlie Rodriguez. Rodriguez now to the right-hand side. The cross from Lozano is blocked out for a throw on the far side. Mexico going to make another change. And it is Uriel Antuna who is coming on, a winger. He's another who plays in Mexico for Cruz Azul. And it is Alexis Vega who makes way for him. He's been brightish.
He has been good, really good. And I think you need to remember, I think we're missing Corona as well, aren't we, with an injury for Mexico, who probably, has to be said, is probably their best player in form at the moment. That was a real blow for Mexico. I mean, they've got a lot of, almost an abundance of that type of player, haven't they? They like to play wide of a front three, really tricky, creative, crafty player. You know, Mexico are pretty blessed with good talent in that area.
Yep, they are. The Sevilla player, Jesus Corona, really tough on him, fractured his ankle. Tecatito, as they call him. Sure reminds me of the old ABBA song.
You have to have a nickname, don't you?
They love
the Mexican player. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Yeah. What would yours be, John?
Well, I've had so many now. There was a time when I didn't have any. Now I've got so many. Mexico 0, Poland 0. And back it comes for Poland into their own half. Cesar Montes, who we've been talking about, the elegant central defender, his nickname is Cochero, which is the puppy, which is not the usual. It's normally something like the tiger or the magician. Yeah. It's not the puppy was not quite out of the usual.
I think Chucky might be the favourite.
Yes, you quite like that one, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
After the horror,
the doll
character.
Yeah. Yes. I think he used to jump out on his teammates when he was at his club in Mexico. Yes. When he was a young player, he used to scare people climbing out from underneath the bed, apparently.
Yes,
got the nickname Chucky.
Chucky it is. Yep. Mexico 0, Poland 0. And the question is, are we going to get a goal in this match? Robert Lewandowski should have scored, had the penalty, had the great opportunity. I mean, it is only his second World Cup. He has scored it the last 3 Euros that he's played at, but not yet a World Cup goal. And Ochoa saved his penalty early in the second half. Mexico coming forward now up towards the corner of the penalty area, but I think Lozano went down rather easily. And so it is Mexico who have it again. Lozano, who's come across to the left-hand side. It was Rodriguez on the left. Lozano now crosses into the edge of the area, but Glick clears it away. And Poland are going to make another change next time the ball goes out of play. And they're going to bring on a striker. But it is Mexico coming forward. Lozano into the box. Now, was he blocked there? No, the referee says, I guess he's taken a dive. Lozano into the penalty area. It's a free kick to Poland. He's saying that the foul was by Lozano on the defender.
Who is the defender? Is it Core?
Cash,
it's Cash, yeah. I actually think Cash does really well because he just gets his foot across early, just before him. It's like a coming together. It's a real collision. But Matty Cash has every right to get his body in there, gets his leg across, and it's almost like you say, he's won a foul because it's gone into the back of him. But good defending from Cash, just got there in time and won that foul almost.
Zielinski is off. The Napoli man scored a couple of goals against Liverpool in that extraordinary Champions League win right at the start of the group stages, and he's been replaced by the number 7, Arkadiusz Milik, who is currently on loan with Juventus.
I mean, he's not had a kick, Zielinski, has he? It's probably not the best team for a creative midfield player to play in.
They're no Napoli.
No.
Here's Cash on the right-hand side. Low ball into the area between the penalty spot and the edge of the box, which is cleared away by Mexico. And then Poland come again. There is every chance that that threat could come in the later stages. Cash takes on, beats Gallardo. Cash again, back to Krychowiak. He curls it into the box, comes off the head of a Mexican defender. Lewandowski was battling for it, but the ball just bounces through to goalkeeper Ochoa, and it's still 0-0.
That's the kind of delivery that he's had to try and feed off this evening, Lewandowski. It was just a bit of a hopeful cross into the box. He had so much to do in order just to win the ball, let alone get any power on the header and get it on target and then beat the goalkeeper. He's had to feed off those kind of balls. It's not enough for them to be a real threat.
Lozano now on the left-hand side, takes the ball on towards the corner of the box, shoots, curls it right onto the head of Glick, actually, and it's knocked him over. The shot was hit with some force. It hit him on the side of the face, side of the head, and he went straight down onto his back. And I think this is another indication here, Poland taking any opportunity to take a few more moments and to wind the clock down. They'll take a draw from this match.
Yeah. I mean, he's a tough, rugged centre-half, John. He should just bounce straight back up from there, shouldn't he? A ball in the face like that, but he's taken that opportunity. He's okay, he's absolutely fine, but it's almost good play from him. It's what you want from your teammate. He's had a bang to the face. He's going to take his time and just get up and just slow the pace of this game right down as much as they can. It's a decent result for Poland. I know they're looking at it thinking they should have scored a penalty, but a draw and more than that, a clean sheet, number one objective, I think, and it looks like they're going to achieve that.
And I would say as well, I don't think Argentina will mind too much about a draw.
No,
the other match in the
great
group.
result for them.
Yeah. After they lost earlier, their 36-match unbeaten run came to an end at the hands or the feet of Saudi Arabia, and they're having a national holiday in Saudi Arabia tomorrow as a result. France, Australia to come. There couldn't be another surprise, could there, on this third day of the World Cup? The holders in action before too long. And you will hear that here on 5 Live. France against Australia with Alistair Bruce-Ball and Chris Sutton. Raul Jimenez plays the ball to the right-hand side. Charlie Rodriguez is onto this. In fact, he checks back onto his right foot. And the cross is blocked. It's Antuna, actually. Antuna, who's come on that right flank, who crosses and it's blocked behind and he's won a corner.
They just needed that ball to get into the box there. Antuna just needed to find that half yard and put it in that danger area. Instead, it's decent defending from Poland. Managed to block it and put it out for a corner.
So a corner from the far side for Mexico in the last 5 minutes of the 90. So Poland have got everyone back in there. Almost all of them in the 6-yard box. Here's the delivery for Mexico into the near post, but that's headed up and securely and firmly away and safely away from a Polish point of view. Mexico, though, turn again and set off to our left. Long ball in from Gallardo, edge of the penalty area. An overhead kick attempted by Raul Jimenez, but an offside flag is up and Poland have a free kick. So 7 minutes of added time will be indicated, but we're currently still in the 88th minute, and it's already been decided that there'll be 7 minutes added on. Oh no, we are in the 90th minute.
Well, according to the stadium clock, perhaps.
Yeah, we are. I think my stopwatch is. I think the desert heat has taken it out of my stopwatch.
The decibels, maybe.
Maybe the decibels. Maybe it's been decimated by decibels. Mexico.
Still, though, it's quite long, John, isn't it?
It's still long.
I do like a bit of added on time.
Yeah, whether my stopwatch likes it or not. It is 7 minutes of added time. Well, that's a poor ball forward by Milik. He gave no one in a white shirt a chance, and it's through for a goal kick. So the big news in this match has been the penalty save by Guillermo Ochoa, Mexico's most capped goalkeeper, who dived down to his left to make the save. Only the 8th man to come to 5 World Cups. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the other 7, incidentally, and 4 of them have been Mexicans, would you believe? As the Mexicans win a free kick on the halfway line. There are 3 players down at the moment, 2 Mexicans, and also Matty Cash, who's fallen off the field almost fell into Gerardo Martino, who stayed on his feet, unlike Matty Cash, who's being helped up by Stephanie Frappart. And it is a free kick to Poland just inside their own penalty area. So 7 minutes of added time. We've already had a minute of those. Glick, who recovered from that ball to the face, is going to leave this to Cash, and again this is a clear indication about their intention. A draw will do Poland from this match. Could have won it with the Lewandowski penalty, but they'll take a point. Poland, who at their last 3 World Cups have lost their first 2 group matches, and don't forget they also finished bottom of their group at the Euros last year. So Mexico 0, Poland 0 in the early stages of added time, but Mexico coming forward, but Glick is able to move across, and on the occasion of his 100th cap made an important interception, and it comes back to Szczesny, who has the ball at his feet, and his clearance to the halfway line is flick-headed on, but Gallardo was able to head that further back. Krakowiak loses out in the challenge, and then down goes Charlie Rodriguez wanting a free kick. The referee is not having none of that. And Poland now. Poland come forward. Lewandowski plays it through the inside left position, but the falling shot that is hit by Kaminski is a comfortable save from Ochoa, who's just able to hop into the air and catch the ball above his head.
Well, he's done his job in there, Bilic, since he's come on. He's a centre-back, but he's come on into the midfield for Poland and was really strong there, shrugged off the challenge, won the ball and just played it simple, and that has been really their motto today, just to be solid. I mean, when you rattle off their major tournament, results of late, like you've just done, you can kind of half understand the caution, can't you? I mean, it's just how it is. You can't have that kind of result in these tournaments and not be a little bit apprehensive.
However, here comes Lozano for Mexico, plays a low ball into the near post, but that's cleared away by Kivior, who comes across. And I think the point is that you can have that approach when you've got Robert Lewandowski up front, because there's every chance that he's going to come up with something that will actually win you the game. But Mexico have been the team on the front foot in this match throughout. The penalty award felt harsh. There was a shirt pull. The teams have been told about that, but they were made to pay for it. But it looked like a 50-50 contest between the defender Moreno and Lewandowski. However, here come Poland again. The ball played into Lewandowski. This is deep in added time. Lewandowski holds it up, plays it square to Krakowiak. 25 yards out. Krakowiak goes for goal, but it flies probably a yard wide and high of the top left corner as he hit it. And again, the sombreros go flying. So Mexico 0, Poland 0. Next, it is France against Australia. And before that, we will have more on the news that has been confirmed tonight that Manchester United and Cristiano Ronaldo have parted ways. And just while we were getting the team news, Antuna had a chance, did well from a long ball out towards him on the right-hand side, beat the defender, Berezhinski, but a weak shot straight at Szczesny.
Yeah, wasted almost, and I think that the crowd felt like that as well. They were very disappointed. I think he had Jimenez in the box. Maybe just to fizz that ball across that 6-yard box would have been a better option. He was never going to really score with that kind of strike from his position.
Final moments. We've had 5 minutes of added time now. 7 have been indicated, so if there's going to be a goal, it's got to come in the last 2 minutes. We had 8 goals in our match yesterday up at the Khalifa, but none here today at the 974, unless there's going to be late drama. And it is Mexico who have the ball with Alvarez, and Alvarez hits a long pass. This is another one for Antuna to chase, but he won't reach that. Goal kick to Poland. More from Manchester United, by the way. They say that they wish Cristiano Ronaldo and his family well for the future, and that they remain focused on continuing the team's progress under Erik ten Hag and working together to deliver success on the pitch. So that is more from Manchester United. And more on that to come on 5 Live and on 5 Live Sport this evening. But this match tonight, Mexico against Poland, the final whistle has gone and it's a 0-0 draw. So after losing their first match, indeed their first 2 matches at their last 3 World Cups, Poland have finally got something from their opening match on the biggest international stage of all, but they'll feel they should have won it. Lewandowski, who had a glorious chance from the penalty spot to score his first World Cup goal, was denied by the save of Mexico's Guillermo Ochoa, and that was the main story of the match. Matt Upson.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it wasn't the worst 0-0 I've ever seen. There was real moments of excitement and action, decisions on penalties. You know, I think whenever you watch Mexico play, it brings that little bit of buzz to the game, and it certainly had that. Just neither team with any real attacking quality, or Mexico, shall I say, cutting edge. You know, great wing play, lots of energy, fullbacks bombing on, no cutting edge inside the box. Almost the exact opposite of what Poland have. They don't have that side of it, but they've got a striker in Lewandowski who usually comes up with the goods. But today, that pressure, I think, facial expression before that penalty, John, he didn't look completely happy, and the penalty would indicate that. It was a weak effort and the game ends 0-0.
Yep, so there we are, a draw, a point apiece. Mexico have managed to get through their opening match at the last, now 7 World Cups in a row without losing it, and their substitutes are on as even. It's the best possible outcome for Argentina after their defeat earlier today. But next it will be Mexico against Argentina, and Poland will play the big conquerors of the day, Saudi Arabia. So the way is clear now for the holders, France, and their first match later elsewhere in Doha. But here by Doha Harbour, it is finished Mexico 0, Poland 0.